What's up to the channel? That's not a good start, but that's also not the best video. Welcome back to the Bianconeri Zone. Welcome back to another daily news video. Completely messed up the intro because the video I'm gonna do is actually a weird one because we are selling an entire 11, or apparently Tudor wants to sell, not sign, sell an entire 11, and the Tudor spin is from the media. If you look at the names, this is nothing really to do with Tudor, bar some names here and there, which we're gonna go through, and why it will be extremely difficult and sometimes very strange that we're trying to move certain players on. Before we do that, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and keep watching the video because I want to hear your thoughts in the comments on certain players I'm gonna go through. So yeah, let's go. Okay, so the starting 11 we want to sell is this one, basically. That's the news that Tudor wants a clear out from players who actually not been at the club, we have not played under him as well. So that's kind of funny. But still, you know, I say that because that's what you need to know about the story. Is it really Tudor? Is it the club? It's the club. That's it. You know, first off, with Perin, we talked about it. He wants to move. He's not the first choice. The club will find a replacement and you get some money. I have no issue with that. You have some bad luck if your number one goes down for a while. I get it. But if Perin wants to play again, then yeah, it's his right to play. You know, if you don't want to be a backup, you're not better than Di Gregorio. You're definitely not going to start over Di Gregorio. And you want to go out and play, well, the second goalkeeper, that's his job. You knew that, you know, and if you don't want to be the second goalkeeper, you cannot keep a goalkeeper who's not satisfied to be on the bench. And when he's called upon, he's kind of, you know, I don't want to be here, you know, I've told you guys. So that's not a good thing. So if he wants to move, that's a personal decision from him, and you cannot really stop that, in my opinion. Weah needs to be moved on because he's just not good enough, you know, and you can get some money out of him as well. If he doesn't want to join Forest, I understand that, but buddy, you still need to leave. I don't know who you're going to accept, but you need to leave, you know. As a club, we need to invest money in the starting 11, and that means you're going to need to replace players who are already in the 11 right now, or maybe sell on the backups who have some value, and Weah is one of them. Ever since he joined, I think he struggled with injury earlier on. Then he had like 5-6 game good stretch with Mota. And other than that, I have absolutely no clue what he adds to the club. People can say, oh, he's solid, you know. Yeah, for a couple of games and then he gets cooked, you know. Like, he's not a player who's going to move the needle. Yeah, you can have him in the squad, but we're not in a situation to have players just there to vibe, you know. If you have some value, you take that value and you run away with it, period. That's how I'm looking at it. And I have no issue. You need to move out these players, in my opinion. Another one is Rugani. Same thing for Rugani. Loaned out a couple of times, you know, to, what was it? Nice. Then to Cagliari because Nice said, we don't want you. We loaned him out to Ajax and he wasn't playing at Ajax and actually was bad when he played for Ajax. It's done, buddy. You know, it's done. I said if you move out Kelly and Gatti and you keep him as fifth option, fine. It's very cheap. But if the news is out there that they are going to keep Kelly and stuff, then yeah, there's no point in keeping Rugani as well. You know, how sad it is that we're keeping Kelly and all that. There's no point in keeping him at the squad. So that makes sense as well. Djalò, disaster, signing from Juntoli, actually fought in training with Porto. Get rid, not a good player, actually very poor player as well. So get rid. Kostić, obviously he's going to leave. I cannot believe he actually had minutes in this Club World Cup. I can still not wrap my head around it. That's actually shambolic that the club allowed Tudor to do that. That's actually, you know, disrespectful towards the fans. That people actually believe that he was going to be useful still is shocking, is mind-boggling to me, is accepting some very embarrassing standards at the club, which I'll never do. Not good enough. Get rid. The next one is Miretti, where I do have an issue. People know that I like Miretti, but that's not really the point. My point is, isn't it smarter for the club to not renew a player like McKennie, who's just not good enough? Like, I'm sorry. Get the money, what you can get for him. Do not give him 3 million euros a season. Let me repeat that. 3 million euros a season and keep Miretti in the squad, who is not even on 1 million a season, and you paid €0 for. Isn't that much smarter business? Because Mikani is a backup, and Miretti, if he comes in, probably will be a backup as well. Isn't that smart business? Because I don't care that Mikani has more experience. He's not good enough. How many times are we going to go into this Mikani thing where he has a good stretch and everybody's like, oh my God, here we go again. And indeed, here we go again. He runs hard, he fights hard, and then it's like, boom, you're not good enough. Here we go again. Get out, Almost signed for Leeds if they didn't get relegated. Had a poor patch when he came back. Had a good patch when he came back towards the end of the season last season, and the season before got worse again because his energy ran out and the fighting spirit is gone, and then he's completely pointless, useless player out there. I'm sorry, he doesn't offer anything special, and especially not for a backup on €3 million. If it can be worse, and he cannot be viewed as a backup, and then this club is actually completely finished. But for me, it will be more sensible to cash in on Mikani, do not spend €3 million on wage, and keep Miretti in the squad, who has more talent. Is he ready right now? Does he need to grow? Yeah, he does. But man, for the backup, and if you are penny pinching, then move on Mikani. So that one I do not get. I don't get the story about Tudor doesn't want him as well. But anyway, Arthur, well, if you can move him on, unbelievable business. If somebody was able to get him off the books finally, fantastic. You have succeeded in something that nobody thought was possible. Douglas Luiz, leave, buddy. Leave. Because, man, if McKennie gets playing over you in the Club World Cup, Colt Miners in the Club World Cup, we're losing and you're still not playing. I have no idea what's happening with that transfer. I hope he comes out and explains everything afterwards, what happened, because this is actually madness. I don't think, even if you don't like Douglas Luiz, and there are a lot of people who don't like Douglas Luiz, and that's fair, but even those people are sitting here right now and they're like, what the hell is going on that he's not getting minutes, but other players will. So yeah, Milik, rip up the contract. I don't care. Out for more than a season, actually ridiculous. Get out of him. Get him out. Mbangula is a player I will keep, as a backup, rotation-wise, very cheap. Yes, he needs to grow anyways. You're not going to get a lot of money. That's been obvious and clear right now, and we're willing to accept very low. I don't think he's an issue to keep in the squad, but Tudor absolutely does not rate him, which is very strange in my opinion, because I don't think he's a world beater, but he's done his job this far, and I can still see him do his job and not spend money, too much money, and invest in the money in areas that we actually need to invest. So strange one. And Vlahovic, man, go watch yesterday's live. We discussed the Vlahovic one. He needs to leave. You need to force him out. Do not play him. He's holding everything back, and he needs to understand that it's over. Why would he actually want to be here? Like I said, go watch the live. Let me know in the comments what you think about this potential 11 leaving. And do you actually believe it's Tudor, or is it more the club telling Tudor, hey, get them out, Let me know, like the video, and we'll speak soon. Ciao.